But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
I don't know whether rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roger, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0,
doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Well, good evening, and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're taking your calls as we go deep, per usual. And, of course, we get weird. Tonight, we're talking dreams, but not just the dreams you know. We're talking about the dreams you don't know. Now, what the hell does that mean? Yeah, I don't know either. In any case, there's a new study that came out talking about, I'm calling this tonight, Dreams from the Dusk. Now, it used to be that in the old days, we would consider dreams to be, a very easy delineation between the waking and the dreaming state. Okay? Very simply. But this new study, and this came out from just recently, and this is on Psychology Today, and it's called Dreaming While We're Awake. Yeah, you bet your ass. Now, what the hell does that mean? I'll get into that in just a second, but I do want to let you know, my camera's broken. I don't know what the hell happened. I'm trying to fix it here. So I'll see if I can fix it as we go. So if you don't see me on the screen, I'm here, I promise. I'm not an AI mic. I'm a real mic. But I'm a real mic with a mic, but the camera's broken. So I'll try and figure it out as we go. If not, hey, it is a radio show after all, so we'll just do it radio style. And here we go. Let's start with Psychology Today. This one here. All right. And it starts like this. So the dividing line between states of consciousness may be fuzzier than we thought. And that in particular is the thing that caught my attention. I was like, wait a minute. Now, what the hell's going on here? So the key points from this article: traditional models of consciousness draw a sharp line between wakefulness and sleep. Okay. We all know that. That's very simple, right? That's one of those things that goes back a long time. But recent research suggests that mental content across states of consciousness is quite similar. I like how they call it mental content. Like, what is that? Like, we're always content. Hey, I'm a content creator in my dreams. So you bet your bippy. Anyway, so dreamlike bizarre thoughts can occur while awake, not just during sleep or REM states. Okay. Now, for me, I was like, okay, now this is absolutely wild because we've talked about this quite a lot in different ways in the past. And we did one show in particular. It was sort of the dream incursion, like the dream realm was kind of pressing on or into the waking space. Like it was always trying to sort of step into the reality, our own, true reality. And one of those, those threads that comes up often when we talk about this stuff is the Lovecraft bit where, he had these nightmares of these really just grotesque creatures from the darkness that were trying to break through his dreams into reality itself, right? So now, of course, that's the extreme of this. And when you think about night terrors and nightmares and all the rest of that, it's one thing entirely, okay? Which, we can touch on that tonight if you guys are interested. By the way, we are taking your calls. Phone line is up if you want to be part of the conversation, 702-857-6939. You can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. But back to Cthulhu and back to the dream state of not just the nightmares, but the liminal space between waking and sleeping, and how this, once again, brand new study is suggesting that we actually continue to dream after we're awake. Now, what does that mean? Now, we've all heard the term daydreaming, right? That's a very simple one. You kind of find yourself wandering, not really asleep, but sort of detached, not really paying attention. Your mind wanders. You think of fanciful thoughts, and then it's suddenly Alice in Wonderland or something, right? Maybe not. But then you snap to, and you're like, oh no, I'm in history class, and this is really boring, and when do I get out of here, right? Okay. Anyway, but you get the idea. And so the question I have regarding this, and when you look at where this comes from, is that does it feel like the dream realm does belong here in some capacity? And, okay, what do you believe about the dream realm? Let's start there. Do you believe that it is its own distinct place? That when we sleep, we actually detach from ourselves and go into it, or our consciousness kind of connects to it and shares this space with other dreamers around the world, and dare I suggest around the cosmos. I mean, has anybody ever encountered an alien in their dream? And with that, okay, so now I get weird. But here's the thing. All the disclaimers apply, okay? There's no truth to be found here. This is just a conversation about ideas. This is a conversation that I like to call a philosophical construct that becomes the great conversation, okay? So if you're here for truth, you're completely in the wrong place. That's not what this is about. This is about possibilities. This is about folklore and mythology. This is about where we came from and where we're going. Simple. And it's a collective of a bunch of amazing people that like to have fun and talk about amazing ideas. That's that. But so we're calling this tonight, like I said, Dreams from the Dusk. when the border begins to answer. Now, the border, of course, is just the border of the dream realm in the waking state. Now, if you can kind of fuzz that line a little bit and even have the dream realm encroach into the waking state, what does that mean? And even if you refuse, so let me read just a little bit from the study here. I'll get you the AI recap so I don't bore you with all the, the lovely prose from these fantastic articles they write. But check this out. Hey, shout out Shane. This is right down your alley. Okay, so the article argues that the boundary between wakefulness and sleep is much less clear than traditionally thought, because dreamlike, bizarre mental experiences can occur while we are still awake. All right, so the traditional models, of course, draws a sharp line, like we said. But here's the thing. So the author explains that psychology typically defines consciousness as the mind's function of receiving, processing, and storing or rejecting information via the senses, imagination, emotions, and memory. Neurobiology instead views consciousness as a spectrum of states, from normal wakefulness to impaired or altered states that can be modified by practices like meditation or by drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. And these states are distinguishable in the lab by EEG patterns. So traditionally, NREM sleep is associated with little or only brief low emotion imagery, while vivid, emotional, and bizarre dreams are linked to REM sleep, whose EEG resembles wakefulness. Okay, so you get the idea. They went through this study and they were kind of testing people as they were coming out of these dream states. And even though they had chosen to be awake and to stay awake, the dreams kept coming in some cases. And I want to ask the question too out there to everybody. I mean, everybody out there sleeps, I hope. I mean, goodness gracious, if you don't, please get help. But if you do sleep, humans of the world, the aliens, who knows if they sleep? I'm just kidding, but I'm kind of not kidding. But also humans of the world, do you ever have that sort of moment when you wake up and the line starts to become fuzzy and you're not sure if you're in the dream or if the dream is trying to press its way out of you, like a pressure in your chest, something to this degree? And do you think that there is some kind of connection that comes together when you're dreaming and you're waking? And I don't know, does the line blur, and how weird does that get? That's what's on my mind tonight. Lots of ways to look at this, lots of things to get into, which is what we're going to do. Of course, we are taking your calls tonight as part of the conversation, 702-857-6939. You can click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. Sorry, camera's broken. We started late. I almost canceled it, but we'll just do it radio style. No mic today, other than my voice. That's what you get. Love to hear your thoughts on this. Let's go to, thanks for being patient, my man, James in Michigan, Salcedo Paranormal. What's up, brother? You're on Trouble Minds. How are you tonight? And go right ahead.
I'm okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Good. Yeah, I mean, dreams are always fascinating to me because, just I've had so many weird experiences while sleeping, while possibly dreaming. Also, to answer your question about aliens and dreams, cats are aliens and cats definitely dream. So, aliens do dream. I'm just kidding, but also kind of not. But yeah, the just the idea of dreaming while we're awake, I think it's really fascinating because I know sometimes while I'm just sitting listening to things and relaxing and I have my eyes covered to give them a break because they're extremely light sensitive, if I get really relaxed, it does feel like I don't really quite go to sleep, but I start to I don't know, it's like I drift off but not quite to sleep. I guess maybe that's daydreaming. I'm not really sure. But I do think that whole border between awake and asleep and dreaming and not dreaming is probably a lot more complex than maybe even we have figured out so far. Even the scientists have figured out so far. It could be even more so than they think it is.
Yeah, which is the weird part here, because as usual, look, I do wonder, because I'm a troubled mind, right? And I like to think about these things in terms of the entire corpus of human storytelling and mythology and folklore and all the stuff that comes with it, right? And part of that, and we talk about this a lot, like I mentioned when we started here, is that Lovecraftian angle of these entities trying to press their way through this man, through his dreams into our space, into our reality somehow. And look, if you want to call that like a storytelling aspect of how we do this, and maybe draw these entities into our space by telling stories about them, and then they're in our mind's eye, and then we talk about them and people do art about them, and you know what I mean? And it kind of becomes a staple in mass media, and then suddenly, right, we're conjuring them this way. That's one thing. But the other thing would be, do you think that it was direct and he was actually onto something and that these entities were trying to kind of bust through his brain or, his brain-like dream structure and get into our reality at all? That's where this becomes incredibly strange. And I don't know, maybe a step too far. Like I said, maybe we're already too far up the if cliff, as I like to call it. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, and I mean, it's fascinating because I've heard and read that he has, and Lovecraft has said before, like in writing and just talking about his personal life, where his stories, the creatures in his stories were not even anywhere near as scary as what he encountered in his dreams. And if you've ever read Lovecraft, it's plenty scary enough as it is. So I can't even imagine dealing with all that. But it makes me wonder, when people have experiences that seem like they're dealing with ghosts or spirits or even aliens in their dreams, I do wonder how often is that our own selves, but also how often is it not? How often is it other beings there that we somehow connect with or interact with there? And where is that? As you said, I think that's a good question. And of course, as usual, I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither. Like I always say, answers few, questions many, because I think the questions are quite a bit more astounding in terms of conversation than just saying the answer is this or the answer is that. I mean, there's probable answers, that's for sure. But of course, you can't really take everybody's experience and kind of juggle it up into a conversation without talking to people. You gotta hear from them about what they do experience. And maybe there is sort of that blurring the line of the REM sleep and the waking state, and where the dreams do kind of punch through and maybe stick with you. I don't know. As usual, that's where this the liminal space is where this conversation absolutely lies. Got a couple minutes left. If you got anything else, James, I'm trying to pull a clock up here because, as you know, I'm scrambling. I'm running behind, but camera is broken, guys. So if you don't see me on the screen, that's why. Yeah, tech issues. Sorry, it just happens. Everything broke at the last second. Anything else, James? Couple minutes left here, and I will try and get a clock up so I can not have to guess.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, tech issues happen to everybody. It just has me wondering too. I mean, as usual, it seems like dreams. It's possible that they are a connection or nexus to all these other states of existence, possibly, or reality, astral travel, other dimensions, all these things, and it makes me wonder now with my what I always call my possible alien abduction experience. Did that involve some kind of a dream state? Not saying that it didn't happen necessarily because it felt like it happened, but was I literally both here physically but also not here physically somehow, or physically here but spiritually or consciousness elsewhere? In that experience, and is that why it? I have no idea how I got to where I was at, or how I got back home, because I never felt a transfer either way. So just really raises that question in my mind: how much of that experience was basically what level of reality did it take place in, or was it multiple levels of it instead of just one?
Yeah, well said. And the abduction experience, the alien abduction experience, of course, has been written off in particular as sleep paralysis, as that in between state where you're kind of stuck, right? I mean, we talked about this ad nauseum in the past and had all manner of theories kind of pass through this show. But that's where these conversations lie. Has it happened to you? Do you believe it is sort of in the dream state? And let's actually take it a step further. Do you think that those aliens and the Lovecraftian entities are trying to actually come through and be part of this realm? I don't know. It seems wild to ask, but I'm going to ask it because I'm a weirdo after all. Quick shout out to Ricky, the streamer over there. Anything is possible. Thanks for the raid on Rumble. And also to Skunk Hollow Rose Garden, Rainbow Leader standing by. Thank you for gifting a couple subs over there on Rumble. Appreciate it very much. Yeah, look, I don't know. What do you guys know about this dream state and how weird does this get? And you tell me. I mean, you are a human too, and you dream. And is it possible that somehow, some way, there is a leakage of dream into real? And and what the hell does that mean? Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. If you want to be part of the conversation, 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We're here with James Salcedo tonight, paranormal expert at Troubled Minds. Give him a follow at salcedoparanormal.com. And of course, we are taking your phone calls. Love to hear your thoughts. Camera is broken. Sorry about that. Here we go. Troubled Minds in just one moment. Do not go anywhere. Be right back. Also, little Johnny Boy gifted 1 subscription to Troubled Minds. Appreciate that. Here we go. Be right back. More on the way.
You're tuning into Troubled Minds, the show where mystery knows no bounds. Stay tuned for revelations that'll keep you questioning the fabric of reality.
Indeed. What's up, guys? Hope everybody's well tonight. What's up, Eric? James is here. Thank you, James. We got Matsal, JJ. What's up, Sesh? Welcome. Thanks for the holiday weekend. You're able to catch us live. I caught that in the chat. Thank you. What's up, Apoc, Herschel? We got Daryl, Michael W, Sacha, Joey Don't Panic, and Ray K. I spent an hour with Ray K yesterday recording a conversation. So that's coming out next Friday. We'll share that in the Discord and all the places. A fantastic conversation per usual. She's doing fantastic work over there on the Radical Truth podcast. What is up? Who am I missing in the chat? Little Johnny Boy. We got Miss Puff is here. A Puff sighting. Hello is not available. Good evening, guys. Hello. I'll try and get through y'all. If not, we'll circle back around and say hello. Hello. Skunk Hollow Rose Garden. Thank you for the gifting the subs there. What's up, Sweets? I see you. Thanks for all the reposts in all the places. Good evening. Hiker got first over there on Rumble. Yeah. Thanks again to Ricky for the raid from Rumble. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening now. I'll circle back around and say hi and catch up to YouTube and more on Rumble as we go. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening right about, let me find the buttons. How about right about now? Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're taking your calls as we talk dreams, but not just your mama's dreams. How about this? You can dream with your eyes open. A new study from the Paris Brain Institute proved it. The line between waking and sleeping was never a line. It was a decision. Tonight, we talk about what happens when the decision itself stops holding. And what the hell does that even mean? Look, everybody loves dreams because everybody has them in some capacity. And, like I said, I've talked about this ad nauseum in the past that I don't really remember my dreams. It's one of those things where when I do, they are doozies. They are whoppers that is like, what the hell was that? It's like so powerful. They kind of come through the ebb and flow of my, my exhaustion probably because I work way too much. But, and that, that may be part of it. You would think your brain state is able to kind of handle some of that if you're, receptive to it somehow. But I mean, when I crash, guys, I crash. I am out. So, I mean, I don't know, like what this looks like and how it kind of fits into the larger conversation in that regard. I don't know the science on that. I do know that everybody does have dreams. And do you think that there is an actual liminal space here where you can decide to continue dreaming after you're awake? 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Anything to add to that, James? And if not, I'll get to the write-up and try and get some callers in here.
Yeah, just a great topic. I'm looking forward to callers on this one. It just has me thinking about times where I've started to wake up from sleeping, but I'm still dreaming, and I open my eyes and can see the room and everything that I'm in, my apartment here, and then close them, and then I'm still in the dream, and it's not... I can't tell you about what any of those dreams are now, which is funny, but I know that feeling. So it is fascinating to think that maybe this scientific study could be something that could explain how that works in people as well. It does make me wonder, like I said, about just that one experience I had, and how many experiences are us dreaming, but also still having these interactions with other beings. And maybe if there's time later, and if anyone wants to hear it, I can go over that weird possible alien abduction experience, because I do think it did feel somewhat like a dream in that it was unreal, but also it was so vivid, and I actually physically felt things that I don't think it was just a dream technically either. So, but yeah, if there's time, I'll go into that later on.
Absolutely. Love to hear it. So we're talking dreams tonight, but not just dreams, this weird liminal space. Like I said, this study kind of sniffed it out that it's not so easy to delineate the waking state versus the dreaming state. And then there is a foggy space in between. So what does it mean? Now, let me read a little bit more from the AI blurb on the article. Look, as usual, I do encourage you to read the articles in full. These are really good stuff. And, the science is usually cutting edge in this case when you're talking dreams and things, because we don't obviously fully understand them yet. And that's good. So do check it out. Links are in the description down below. You can check out the Troubled Minds newsletter, which again is called Tonight, Dreams from the Dusk, when the border begins to answer. Okay, so now back to this. Now, let me catch up 1 second here. Okay, so I read that. Okay, so the article focuses on a 2026 study by DCAT and colleagues that examined the transition from wakefulness to light sleep using EEG and interruptions, either by a falling bottle or an alarm, asking people what was on their mind in the 10 seconds before they were disturbed. Participants rated their thoughts on spontaneity, bizarreness, fluidity, and how they felt awake, allowing researchers to map different kinds of mental content to both EEG patterns and sleep stages. But here's where this gets weird. So using principal component analysis, the researchers identified 4 types of experiences during this transition. Fragmented content, these brief images; alert content, focused on the environment around you; bizarre content, e.g. mini aliens. Here we go, aliens coming up for the 3rd time already in this show. And deliberate content, sort of goal-directed thoughts like planning. Crucially, all 4 types appeared not only in light sleep, but also when participants were still awake, showing that dreamlike bizarre content is not confined to sleep. And that's the odd thing here. Has anybody had an encroaching space where a dream you couldn't shake just continued to happen in your waking state? I mean, this is kind of what this harkens to. It's kind of pointing at this weird space where we decide when we dream. And even in a wakefulness state, you can maybe just continue a dream you were having last night and pick up right where you left off. I don't know if there's some sort of meditative aspect or daydreaming. I don't know. Like I said, as usual, the science here is a little bit foggy and wobbly because you can't really pin down exactly how this works yet. Because of course we don't have the Neuralinks plugged in recording our dreams, which is terrifying, and don't hope for that future. But you get my meaning here. There's a lot in play, and it gets really creepy. What else? Okay, so other stuff from the right up here, which is fantastic. By the way, like I said, I encourage you to read it in full. It is very good. I'm not going to read you the arty stuff. We'll go straight to the goods here. So the study did not set out to describe a contest, like a contest between a waking state and a sleeping state. It set out to compare brain activity across states and found the comparison less useful than expected. When the usual markers for sleep were absent, the mental content still sometimes matched the kind of content that appears when those markers are present. The researchers recorded people who were sitting upright, eyes open, performing ordinary tasks, like I said, and the reports described scenes with the same suddenness and the same lack of ordinary cause. The difference was not in the scene. The difference was in whether the person had already decided the scene was allowed to finish arriving, almost as if it was a bottleneck, like a bottleneck of ideas that you could kind of shut off in the dream or allow them to continue into a waking state, which gets odd, which gets wild, which gets weird, which means we could probably turn it on too, right? Like maybe lunchtime, going to take an hour lunch and just turn your dream back on. That's kind of cool. Seems very shamanic journey if you ask me. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on this. We're talking dreams tonight and how weird this gets, because if you can just turn this back on at any time, or let's say it's always trying to come in, how do we stop it from happening? Or how do we just open the faucet and let the dream roll? You tell me. Love to hear your thoughts. 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. Just like this. Thanks for being patient. Let's go to JJ on the Discord. Oops, sorry about that. I unclicked you there. I'll re-click you, invite you to speak. Just pop up on here and chime right in when you're ready to go. JJ on the Discord. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you tonight? Go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. You sound great.
Oh, hi. Hello.
Good
Happy
evening.
holiday weekend for those who have the holiday. And
You as well.
thank you those who will be working. Yeah. This is a great topic. I know I don't want to just talk about nothing but Jung, but one of the things I think about a lot is the fact that his the Red Book is a fairly recent surrender to the public discussion, right? Like if you're familiar with the history of Jung at all, there's this Red Book that talked about how the man who's one of the people primarily responsible for our worldview and how society is kind of managed now, because he's one of the fathers of psychology. The Red Book just blows my mind. But anyway, so most of his stuff will be entering the public domain in 5 years. And it just seems like interesting timing to me in some ways, because that's not something that necessarily means as much as it used to, but it still means something. That this guy, it's kind of a testament or a Bible of sorts to a lot of people, but very few people have read it. And
agreed. So
hopefully that made sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. I haven't read it actually. I've read the synopsis of it, and it's bizarre stuff. It's like he was encountering the dream entity within him, and it kind of sparked a bunch of these ideas for his archetypes that we always talk about that ended up in his later books and whatnot. But he was actually communing directly with an entity inside of him that he had named and everything. And I mean, it is just next level bizarre. And that's the one book that nobody really does talk about. You're right. It kind of gets, we'll just forget about that one, but we'll talk about all the other cool stuff that Carl Jung did instead.
No, absolutely. I mean, frankly, it's pretty terrifying. It's definitely inspiring to go and take another look at his work, because he frankly says, if I release this during my lifetime, no one will ever listen to me, but it was real. And I know that I have so many questions about how our brains are changing in this time of rapid technological advancement, in this era of globalism. I think all the time about how many different kinds of people there are in America. And we're actually doing kind of an incredible job, because so many people believe so many different things in such a concentrated place all at once. There's nowhere else in the world like the United States in terms of people with different belief systems all experiencing this thing together. But so how does that impact the unconscious, what is in our dreams? It's just a fascinating topic. I think that's pretty much everything I had to say. That's okay. So
let me ask you a couple questions then. So fantastic stuff. And Carl Jung is a great example here, because we're talking entities. It's very similar. It's not Cthulhu. It's not sort of the pressing of these, the the foul entities of the cosmic dark trying to press through the dreams, but he did commune with an entity within. And that really kind of shakes the cage here when you talk about these ideas, because it makes you wonder if there really is something inside, some voice in there, some ancestral communion you could have, something going on. I don't know. Have you ever had a space where you've talked to somebody in a dream and you knew they were real? They were a real entity and not just sort of a figment of your imagination or the dream space?
Every night, every single night, for sure. I for the past like 3 years, I've been having the kind of the same dream every night, which is I wake up, I'm in reality, I'm working a job that I don't know how to do. I'll be at a deli. I'll be working in an auto parts store. I'll be a model. I'll be a cook. And all of a sudden I'm supposed to be doing a job that I don't know how to do. Like I don't know how to do. And it feels so real. So then conversely, when I'm at work and I'm daydreaming, I'm thinking like, well, is someone hooking a sister up? Like, do we share this time together somehow? Because the synchronicities are funny. They're very funny. I mean, yeah. So sometimes I definitely feel like I'm not having my dream. And then other times I'll have a dream and someone will be like, do you know a lawyer? And I'll look over and I'll see my father, who was a lawyer, who's unfortunately deceased, but he'll be dressed like Anne of Green Gables or something. I don't know how to describe it, but anyway, it's the same thing every night for like the past 5 years.
That's really bizarre. Yeah, the whole recurring dream thing to me is absolutely wild, because sometimes shout out Kelly, he talked about this where he had like a period of about a year, something like that, where he had the same dream every single night and he couldn't shake it, and it was like from a past life. It was like him dying in a past life and maybe even handing off that sort of essence through the dream. But then eventually it just stopped. Like it was literally there every single night for a year, and then it stopped. And it hasn't come back. It's just a strange thing, the whole recurring dream. Was there something that kicked this off for you, or do you think it just happens naturally? I mean, that's a little bit terrifying, working a job you have no idea what's up. I mean, the car parts thing is especially funny. You're like, hey, can I get an alternator for and you're like, No,
that'll be exactly right. The worst is like when all of a sudden I'm a chauffeur or something, because I don't actually really drive. I've always loved places where I could ride my bike or walk or take a subway or whatever. So yeah, I'll all of a sudden be driving and I don't know how to drive. Those are not cool. Those happen fairly regularly, but I always survive, so that's probably good.
Yeah, that's good. You figure it out somehow. Yeah. Do you think there was something that triggered it? I mean, did you dream normally before that? This recurring dream space?
Kind of, yeah. I've been in 17 different states in the 5 years. I took the opportunity to travel like right as COVID started, which I just had the opportunity. So I have worked different jobs along the way, and that probably has something to do with it. But none of the jobs that I dream about, probably, fortunately. So that's good.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah, weird. Okay, so maybe the lack of stability is kind of just opened up your brain to be kind of freaking out because you don't know what comes next. Like that's a very psychological, very Carl Jung sort of thing when you talk about this, huh?
Yeah, I mean, well, I just don't know. Like, I don't know. I dream about work a lot, and then I have fantastical dreams. And I'm just thinking that's kind of a reflection of how I consume reality, like work is pretty mundane. Entertainment is the opposite of mundane. It's extravagant, and it's like breadth of things to be startled by. So I don't know. I wonder, it feels fairly normal to me, like just dreaming about being an average person and then having to make very difficult decisions in a kind of chaotic time. So I try to walk around with a lot of sympathy, because I think we're all just changing in ways that we don't quite understand yet,
Yeah, well said.
Some of them for the better, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. It's I call this the acceleration, and it doesn't mean it has to be good. It doesn't mean it have to be bad. It's certainly confusing. It's certainly stressful, But when we come out of this, maybe just maybe we're better than ever. You know, the butterfly effect, and now suddenly we're more capable than we ever have been. Who really knows? But that's fantastic. I want to add a quick PSA on that. So if you go into a hardware store and you ask like a 20-year-old person, which tool is the best to use, don't expect like the right answer. I'm just, you know what I mean?
No, exactly.
I'm just saying,
That's actually exactly right.
they're out there faking it till they make it too. So, everybody's got a little slice of that in their life and in their job sometimes. And here we are.
I wonder.
Yeah, totally. Fire stuff. What else you got?
Nothing. Shout out to Night Stalker. I really enjoyed my Mob Zone. I wanted to say also a quick shout out to how much I enjoy when Joe from Florida talks about American God stuff like that. I do think it's fascinating. America is arguably not 250 years old, but arguably this year it is 250 years old. So I just wonder about all the different versions of being an American, this year, and how that's also impacting everybody. Because most of us are, like, my generation was raised to care very much about trying to leave a better world. And I know that's true of generations above me too. So when you talk about like people dissing on generations, it drives me crazy too, because we're all doing the best we can, I guess, in a way.
Exactly right. Night Stalker wants to know if you had any dreams about stocking shelves.
Oh, I have actually. That is a job I have actually had. Yep.
Oh, nice. Okay. So then you wouldn't feel alien not stocking a shelf or whatever. So perfect.
No, I actually like going to the grocery store because I try to behave very well. I'll return goods so people don't have to do take backs. And yeah, I love going to the grocery store. Derek is one of my favorite kind of heroes. He keeps us fed.
Exactly right. So he dubs the Dream Stalker. You're the best, JJ. Appreciate the call.
Nice to talk to you again. I'm so grateful for everything that you all do.
Thank you. You as well.
I know
Appreciate
I'm not the only one.
Thank you so much. Have a fantastic weekend. And sorry to interrupt you there. To talk to you soon. Appreciate the call.
No, thank you, Michael Strange. Bye.
Good night. Thank you very much. Fantastic call. Yeah, look, that's what this is about. And again, the dream space is, check it out, how interesting, how wide and how varied. And now think of it this way, with that recurring dream. What does that mean? Does anybody else out there have recurring dreams? Let's throw that into the bucket here, because I think it's highly fascinating how sometimes they stick and sometimes they don't, right? Like Kelly described, sometimes he had it for a year straight and then it just stopped. JJ here's had the same dream for years. I mean, when does that stop? Does it? I don't know. Like that whole part to me is absolutely wild, because I don't think I've ever had the same dream twice that I can remember anyway. But fire stuff. Appreciate you guys very much. Thank you for the call, JJ. James, anything to add to that? We'll go to Sesh Omaru on the Discord.
Yeah, I'll get into this more later, but just makes me wonder too, when we become disoriented, when we get to be, let's say, dizzy, or reality seems to slip somehow. Are we being sort of contacted? Are we sharing space with other people, other consciousness that are somehow also being disoriented and slipping into the same space somehow? Is that what's happening with JJ there, and the dreams of having these other jobs, and how does this work? Can it go both ways? Are there sort of trades, like temporary exchanges of a consciousness, these two consciousness between places, that lead to these weird situations where we don't know what's going on all of a sudden for no reason?
Yeah. Super weird. I don't know. Like, and how do you quantify it? How do you square it? How does it change? And then how do you, I don't know, maybe become better for it? There's a lot of questions there that hit me as part of what you were describing. You're the best to get back to you momentarily. 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Sesh Omaru, thanks for popping in tonight. Yeah, and thanks for peeling off a holiday weekend so you could spend some of it with us. Welcome. You're on Troubled Minds. What's on your mind tonight? And go right ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. You sound great.
All right, okay. I've had a couple ideas coming around here. We're talking about recurring dreams and stuff like that, and it kind of reminded me of like quantum teleportation, and how like your brain like is shooting electrical signals constantly. So like when you're dreaming, those signals are bouncing back and forth. So maybe those quantum signals are going to other like dimensions or realms that, we're not currently in, and we're kind of dipping into other pools of reality that are somewhere else. And then I was just to like make sure I had it organized remotely right. When you have the quantum teleportation, it doesn't like travel. I guess it saves its quantum state a qubit, and then it goes to its new destination, and the old one is destroyed. So like when you're waking up from your dream, like you start forgetting things, and maybe that's like data loss happening when you're coming back to like your body and everything. I wrote down a bunch of stuff, but for starters, that's like kind of where I was thinking.
No, I dig it. It is one of my favorite theories, by the way, too. I mean, there's a lot of them that we've talked about over the years, but one of them is that the dream realm is a place we share, and we go there, and it is, I don't want to say it's finite because it's probably brackish, like I talk about brackish realities. I don't think it's like a bubble, right? I think it's probably like a little more ephemeral than that. Maybe ambiguously large or small and kind of always changing. But that is one of my favorite theories in regard to when we do dream, we do go to a place. And maybe it is sort of an entanglement space as you're describing, and the teleportation aspect is of consciousness itself. Am I right? Something to that effect?
Yeah, so I also wrote down in relation to that, like our REM sleep, maybe that being like a type of gate that we have to pass through to reach that like collective pool. And then I wrote down meditation, like for people trying, like literally meditating, trying to go to other places. And like, I was doing some meditation like a month or so ago where it was just talking about like, find your happy place. Like where are you the most content and calm? And I like brought myself always to like a body of water. I lived in Florida on and off for like 10 years, which, geez, last time I had called in, I think I was still living in Florida. Actually, no, I had just moved here. I've been here like 3 years now. Anyways, so yeah, the meditation, like people use meditations for all sorts of things, but like maybe meditation is a way to kind of dial in on like your bookmarks in the brain for like those places you traveled to. And you can kind of pick back up on those dreams, or like when you dream and have those reoccurring ones, you're finding that kind of mental bookmark that you traveled to before and can kind of keep pulling from that space.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And like for me, my happy space is obviously the desert. That's why I live here. But I came from the ocean. I grew up in California. I spent a lot of time in Monterey, down there by the water. And let me tell you, it's nice, but it also smells like, poo. So, they got pipes going into the ocean. So, I mean, there's good and bad in all the things, but I don't dream of the ocean. It's weird. Like if I dream and it's any kind of outdoor, it's going to be in the desert, which is, weird because I live here. But I guess maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. Fire stuff. What else you got, brother?
Let's see. Matter not restricted by our current world dimension. Maybe we alternate realities and past, like remote viewing. And then I guess with the remote viewing, it's like maybe when we see like apparitions and ghosts and aliens or whatever have you, maybe that's like other civilizations doing the same thing in their little beds off on some other planet. And our world is the realm that they kind of quantumly teleport to for those brief moments.
Yeah, which complicates everything, because then who's really pulling the strings in the dream realm? Like, are you the sort of the protagonist, or is it somebody else and you're just kind of there in their space for the moment, right? Like it gets complicated as hell.
We are all NPCs.
Yeah, it
doing the same thing.
Kind of feels like that, doesn't it? Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like a main character syndrome in your dream is probably not the worst thing. Take charge of that dream realm, guys. Grab it by the horns and go get it. I appreciate you very much. We got about a minute left. If you got anything else, appreciate the call.
Nope. I'm all over the place, but I'm glad I got to say hello.
That's okay. No, you are absolutely not all over the place. You are absolutely in the pocket, because that's what we do here. We look at the different angles of reality and talk about it. So that puts you right in the pocket of troubled minds. Appreciate the call, brother. Thanks for, again, Thank you. I'm thankful for a holiday weekend so we can get some people in here who haven't been here in a long time. So thank you for listening, for supporting the show for so long. Thank you for bringing fire ideas, and enjoy your day off tomorrow. Okay. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
You're the best. Sesh Maru on the Discord. Join the Discord if you guys have not. Lots of amazing people that have made this show go over the years. Lots of great ideas, and that's the point. We need to talk to each other. It's literally the singular point of what this show has always been about. So let's talk. I'm calling this Dreams from the Dusk, when the border begins to answer. What the hell does that mean? Well, it means there's a liminal space between waking and sleeping where the dream persists. So the question really becomes, does it mean we can invoke a dream and turn it off whenever we like? Or nah? 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Thanks for the great calls so far. We got more from James coming up, Derek the Night Stalker, and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds on the way. If you're wondering about the camera, yes, it's broken. Sorry. Gonna have to go without it. We'll do it old school radio style. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up in just one moment. Do not go anywhere.
This is Troubled Minds. Your host, Michael Strange, the master of the mysterious, is here to guide you through the shadows of the unexplained.
Let's check the news. A new study out of Argentina is raising uncomfortable questions about the world's most widely used weed killer and its possible role in the global superbug crisis. Researchers at the University of Buenos Aires collected bacterial samples from a protected wetland in the River Delta region, land that has never been directly sprayed with the herbicide, and found that nearly every strain showed significant tolerance to it. More troubling, when hospital bacteria from local intensive care units were tested against the weed killer, every single strain survived doses well above what agricultural fields actually receive. Nearly 3/4 of those same hospital strains also resisted last resort antibiotics, the medicines doctors turn to when all others have failed. Shifting to a story that speaks to how life in our cities may be quietly reshaping the animal kingdom, a sweeping new analysis covering 133 species across 28 countries confirms that urban animals worldwide are becoming measurably bolder than their rural counterparts. The research, led by Dr. Tracy Burkhardt of Lewis and Clark College, drew on 80 separate field studies spanning every major vertebrate group. City animals were found to be more aggressive, more exploratory, and more willing to approach humans, a pattern that held consistently across mammals, birds, reptiles, and amphibians alike. Researchers describe the behavioral shift as a global phenomenon, not a regional quirk. And finally, a discovery that may force a quiet rewrite of what we thought we knew about heredity. Scientists at Johns Hopkins University and Texas A&M tracked chemical tags on the DNA of 3 generations of laboratory mice, markers that switch genes on or off without altering the genetic code itself. In roughly 7% of cases, those tags broke from the rules established by the father of modern genetics, and in 54 instances, offspring carried patterns found in neither parent. The team also documented a phenomenon where a tag on one copy of a gene imprints itself onto the other copy, observed naturally in mice for the first time. One of the affected genes is linked to sperm development, placing the findings squarely in the territory of fertility research. Thanks for listening to the Troubled Minds Radio Network.
Indeed. Hope everybody's well tonight. I will say hi to YouTube because I missed you guys. Sorry about that. Fred got first over there. What's up, Michigander? Wally's World. I see you. James is over there as well. Good evening. We'll talk to James momentarily. James also on the Discord. What's up? Ioxy is here. What's up? I saw unseen Steve McQueen. Yeah, I see you. You're not unseen as you think you are. What is up? Who did I miss? There was somebody else who popped in recently. Whole bunch of names on here. Sorry about that. It kind of cuts it off when it starts. You know, Sooty. What's up? That's who it was. I hope you guys are doing great tonight. Just hanging out, talking about dreams. It is what we do on the show. We got Derek the Night Stalker coming up. What's up? Joey's here. Ioxy scrolling up through the other chat. Wally's World, I think I said. What's up, Fred? Hello. Sorry, I'm hard of seeing. No problem at all. Ray K. Good evening, guys. Hello, Sweets, of course. My mom. Trying to get everybody in. If I missed anybody, Michigander, I see you. If I missed anybody, just say hi, and I'll say hi back as we go. Trying to keep up with all the things. It's not as easy as it looks. Everything's always easier on TV, as they say. What's up? Yeah, Nostradamus, Puff over there, Puff sighting. We got Sweets, Gordo. Good evening, guys. Hope everybody's well. Thanks for pinning the things and sharing all of the amazing conversation that's happening on Rumble over there. Hello. Who did I miss? Thanks again to, who was that? Scroll all the way up for gifting some subs. Shout out Ricky for rating the stream. We got Little Johnny Boy. Good evening. Hello was not available. Skunk Hollow Rose Garden. Rainbow Leader. How you doing? Welcome. Thanks for gifting those subs there. Appreciate that. Who did I miss? Hiker Emoji, of course. Hello. Let's go. Trouble Minds happening now. Sweets. Let's see. Little Johnny Boy. Nostradamus. Just making sure we're good. Like I said, if I missed you, sorry about that. Merlin Magi. It is an oversight. It is not. It is a bug. It is not a feature. Just say hi, and I'll say hi back as we go. You guys are the best. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening now. We got Derek the Night Stalker, more from James. Andrew calls as well, and we're talking dreams. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're taking your calls as we go deep into the dream realm. Now, how weird does it get? This study suggests that we can dream while we're awake, and the line between sleeping and waking dreams is not as firm as we thought. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we can just, kind of go to that mental bookmark, as Sashimaru said there, and maybe fire up a dream at lunchtime or something? Or, I don't know. How weird does this get? Love to hear your thoughts. 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It is as easy as that. Thanks for being patient, everybody, and for chiming in. Great calls so far from JJ and Sashimaru. Appreciate you guys very much. And, of course, James. Anything to add, James? Fire stuff per usual. What do you know? Lines should be up. Phone lines are up. I see you there, Jay. Go ahead, James. Anything you got? And then we'll go to Derek in Massachusetts.
Yeah, great calls from everyone so far. I am wondering, too, when people have, let's say, dreams of alternate or parallel universes, is that what they are, or is that that sort of temporary transfer to another version of oneself into that space for a brief time? And then is it a trade? Does another version of us come back here when these things happen? And of course, how and why does it happen? And is there anyone in charge about that? Or are we really going to these other universes? Or again, is it something slightly different and it's all just within this other dream realm, wherever it is, but it still is real somehow? I guess those are all the questions I have for now.
Yeah, that is a nice group of questions, and of course, I don't know the answer to any of them because I'm only me. But hey, that's why we talk to each other. Yeah, exactly. Damn it! I demand a recount, Mike. I want all the answers right now. No.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Anyway, I mean, we will reserve that because one day we'll get back to the inversion show where James and I show up and we have all the answers, and we'll just tell you guys all the answers. We've done a couple of those in the past as sort of April Fool's jokes. But anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. We're talking dreams tonight. I'm calling this dreams from the dusk, and simply that just means this border space. When that border space begins to answer and even bleed into and away from the waking and the sleeping space of dreams. Yeah. Do you think you can just bookmark a dream and then fire it up during lunchtime for a minute or for 20 minutes or whatever, and then kind of turn it off again? I don't know. It feels like maybe this is a little more malleable in terms of those lines than we ever dreamed. You tell me. We ever dreamed. See what I did there? 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show just like this. Derek in Massachusetts. What's up, brother? How you doing tonight? The Night Stalker. What's up, my man? You're on Troubled Minds tonight. Thanks for scheduling, popping in here, and just being you. I know it's a handful doing that at work. Like I said, I couldn't do it because things are just so random and chaotic for me, and I know they are for you too. But you make it happen. So thank you for that.
No, thank you.
Welcome to the thing. What's on your mind here? Tons of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. No. Great show. Great calls, everybody. And thank you for doing the show. I only mentioned the fact that I'm stressed out and running around just to excuse any of my ramblings that happened during the call. It's just to explain why I'm so scatterbrained and stuff. But it's no big deal. Yeah, great calls from everybody. I got a bunch of thoughts. We'll just see what I get to. It's nothing in particular here. But so the first thing I thought of when you were talking about these waking dreams is that was the theme of Burning Man in 2022. It was like they have a theme every year. Burning Man is super ritualistic in the desert and stuff, and has very esoteric origins that I'm blanking on at the moment. But their theme in 2022 was waking dreams, and this was like within a month of the dream show you were talking about from back in the day, and because that was around the sleeping sickness time when there was that like a Sandman sleeping sickness in the show, and then some kind of real sleeping weirdness going on, and like imagination. Like I don't want to bring up too many keywords, but during the pandemic, there were people saying that they were losing their ability to dream, and then like also an artist, like a painter, said that he was losing his ability to imagine, to daydream, to like see pictures in his mind as like a symptom of getting sick. So there was all kind of weird imagination, sleeping sickness stuff in the zeitgeist at that point. So Burning Man was waking dreams, and I just asked real quick, like what was it like? Explain what the theme was to the AI, and then give me a quote from whoever made it. It says that the theme explored hypnagogic reality, the blurry, surreal space between sleeping and waking, which I was already planning on talking about. I had a bunch of notes on the hypnagogic state. But the blurry, surreal space between sleeping and waking, it was about externalizing dreams into real world art, quote, bending the arc of reality toward the fantastic and making life choices based on true desire, not social scripts. The curator said that Stuart Magdrum said that the theme title occurred to me appropriately enough in a dream, rising from the depths of the subconscious like Leviathan, which is kind of Lovecraftian, like you're talking about.
I was going to say, well, that's not weird at all, is it?
Yeah, exactly. I need a drink, but what do you think about that? Just to get started.
Yeah, when we talk about dreams, it always invariably comes back to that idea of Lovecraft and sort of and not just because, look, if you think he's just some weird racist guy from the past, fine, wrote some crazy stories and had some crazy dreams, that's fine, okay. But also, it has been this sort of cultural momentum gaining with the Lovecraftian stuff, not just in terms of mass media and the things we watch, and it's been mixed into so many things. The Marvel universe with what's the guy's name? He was in Doctor Strange, the first Doctor Strange movie.
It's
like that.
Dormammu.
Dormammu. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's a very Lovecraftian entity. I mean, and this is the thing. It's literally encroaching into popular culture in these ways that you can't really. I mean, you can quantify it. You can kind of count that, through Google Ngrams and things like this, and then tracking the internet at large. But certainly there seems to be this acceleration space of Lovecraftian themes. And so, I mean, look, if he was just some racist guy from the past, fine, that had some weird dreams and wrote some weird stories, fine. But also it is literally accelerating in that mind space too, and the dream space. I don't know. Have you actually... It's a good question. I've never had like a Lovecraftian dream directly with like the amorphous, conscious black hole or something. Have you ever had like a dream similar to that, or is this just sort of the themes we see in the popular culture space? I never asked you that directly. What do you think? Have you ever had one of those?
Not as Lovecraftian. And since I've been into Lovecraft, like since I've been overtly talking about Cthulhu all the time, I just don't really remember my dreams as much. I've been working overnight and stuff, so it affects my dreams, I think. Like the only recurring dream I had as a kid, I think it's recurring, or just like left an impression, and I thought it happened a bunch of times. But do you ever like have that feeling, and it kind of applies to this, where you have that feeling where you're trying to get out of a dream, like everybody has this experience, but you're trying to get out of a dream and you feel like yourself shaking your body in real life, trying to like shake yourself out of the dream and stuff. For me, I had this recurring dream where it was the one, I won't get into the whole thing, but it was the one where I saw Jar Jar Binks in my living room or whatever, like a couple of years before the movie came out. But then the dream always ends with me looking up at this giant, like clock tower type thing. It looks like there's no clock, but looks like a giant lighthouse, but just in the middle of a town. And I'm like below it, and it's daunting over me. And it's black, like the top of it, where the bell or where the lighthouse would be. It's just dark, and there's two white eyes looking at it. And then always, I know I'm dreaming. I gotta get out of here. And I'm like 5 or 6 at the time, or 5, 6, like as it recurs. And I feel my hands in real life going over my face, trying to open my eyes in real life. And then eventually I'm awake. That's always how it ends. So that's the kind of like That's the only like dark presence I've ever really like I can really remember in my dream in my entire life.
Me, Jar Jar Binks. it's not necessarily the Lovecraftian entity of old, but I mean, who knows, right? Like he was such a horrific character that maybe that's
the eyes. Though. I mean, Jar Jar is pretty cosmic horror. I'm more referring to those giant eyes up in the watchtower or whatever it is. I don't know what that like some kind of ominous presence looming above me that I can't describe. Yeah, I don't really. I feel like I don't really have that many nightmares, to be honest. Like I have a lot of adventure dreams where it's stressful and adrenaline, and I'm like trying to save the world and that kind of stuff. But I consider those to be kind of fun, you know. And in college, I was a big lucid dreamer, and I could never like. I just got into lucid dreaming, like the idea of like the kind of training yourself to look at the little sign, like look at the clock and look at your hands and do these triggers so that in your dream, when you look at your hands and you look at the clock, you'll notice that they're disfigured and weird. So then you'll realize you're dreaming and then start to control the dream. And the ones who were good at, like, I learned it from a girl in my college writing class. It was like a year before, or it's like the year Inception came out, I think, or the year after. So like dreams are pretty big. And she goes, "Oh yeah, I'm really good at lucid dreaming. So I can do mundane stuff. I'm so good at it. So if I have a presentation in class the night before, I just practice the presentation in front of my dream class and stuff." I'm like, whoa, that's pretty serious. And I never really got that good at all, but I couldn't like choose my destination when I was falling asleep. But if I woke up, I could go back into the dream when I went back to sleep immediately. That's the only kind of control I had over it. And then just realizing you're awake. That's too much rambling. But yeah, the Lovecraft thing, I mean, it's a massive influence. So something creeped into a shattered mind at the time or whatever, and then just, there's no going back. I mean, it's just, I was watching some octopus thing the other day, and I was thinking, wow, like Lovecraft really nailed it. Like an octopus was so creepy looking, and just the even if you never like, even if you have no idea who Lovecraft was, these themes, like the I don't know, it's influenced the Alien franchise and stuff. It just is so baked in. The second Doctor Strange movie was just multiverse of madness. It was literally ripping on Lovecraft overtly, you know? And so it's like, yeah, give me back on track real quick. Sorry, I got a bunch of notes.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're talking dreams tonight, so it's okay. Dreaming when you're awake, like in this sort of liminal space between. And so the question comes up, and shout out Sashimaro there, and also JJ bringing up Jung and sort of that red book and the entity within. But this gets even more weird when you talk about being able to maybe bookmark that dream and turn it on and turn it off in a waking state. So, I mean, which really the question begs is, are dreams literally something that happens while we're in the sleep state, or is it just sort of something we turn off because we've conditioned ourselves through, you know, thousands of years, millions of years of evolution to only access that realm during the dream space, during our sleeping space. So imagine if you could just turn it on and turn it off at will. I mean, maybe this is what we're getting at too, and where this actually ends up with, dare I suggest, Neuralinks. By the way, don't just plug things into your brain, please, people. Just a PSA right now. Unless you literally are paralyzed or something, don't volunteer first to go plug something into your brain. Anyway, go ahead. All yours.
I got too many disconnected ideas here to make it any kind of like linear order. But just to what Seth was talking about before about all the different methods of like the remote viewing or meditation and different types of stuff. Those are different like ways to induce trance-like states, and the hypnagogic state is another trance-like state. So I think the way to like channel inspiration or to actively contact something or to have like some kind of experience, it's about the altered state, and the way to do it an unassisted altered state while you're awake is to get yourself into a trance, which is meditation, or like the example everybody uses is I was driving my car and it was zoned out, and I woke up and I was at my destination. Like, thank God nobody walked in front of me because I got to know what was happening. But it's where ideas come from. So like Isaac Newton, when they talked about getting the idea for gravity, when the apple hit him on the head, that he was in a trance and the apple knocked him out of the trance. And I'm not even necessarily sure that's a real story, but he would like hold these metal balls in his hand and to sit in a chair to think of ideas in particular. So he would start to zone out, get in a trance, and right before he fell asleep, he would drop the balls. Like as he's drifting off, he would drop the balls, and that would wake him up. And that's the hypnagogic state. And from that hypnagogic state, he would get these ideas, and that's how we got the idea for gravity, all that kind of stuff. That there's some kind of you can access that mob zone, you can access this weird borderland between the realms by getting into these trance-like states. For me personally, like it's just hard to fall asleep for me. So sometimes like my body is just like real, like my mind is going like racing usually, but then my body's just like so unbelievably tired. And so I'll like I'll be like, just like, I'm never mind. So synchronistic. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's hard. Like I said, everything seems easier on TV. Like you get 10 threads that just kind of fracture in the same moment. You're like, oh, where do I chase this? Forget it. We'll do something else. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think me talking about my dreams is not that interesting compared to other stuff. So I just don't want to waste too much time. So synchronistically, yes, on Saturday, Clyde had his like monthly Zoom chat for everybody for like his membership people, and he was talking about he had this dream, this recurring dream where he keeps he's in a mall and the mall's like shifting and it's like kaleidoscopic and like a labyrinth, and he looks outside and there's disaster happening and stuff. And then he said that he found, I haven't looked this up to verify it or whatever, but he said he found online that people are experiencing, I think it was like a news article, he said, people are experiencing mall dreams, a shared mall dream. There's a lot of people who are like finding themselves in these weird mall, like mazy malls or abandoned malls. And this, which is like, you were talking about the idea of people experiencing a shared dream or at least a common dream. I don't know if they're meeting each other in that space, but right now people are all having the same dream, which is just fascinating and trippy and stuff. And just symbolically, kind of, it reminds me like when James talks about that like waiting room, the Beetlejuice style waiting room and stuff. Like, on the other side, that maybe there's some kind of dream liminal area, this dream white space that's kind of painted by the collective consciousness. And for the last like 50 years, in mall culture. And then he was talking about the fact that it's collapsing. It's like nothing's where it's supposed to be. And I'm trying to find these things that were like comforting me in the mall as a child, but I can't find them. And outside, the world is falling apart. And it looks like Inception when the dream's falling apart. So my thought was like, maybe that shared consciousness space, this shared dream space, is shifting to, like, if you were born after 2000, you've been to the mall maybe a handful of times in your life. Like, the mall has been pretty slow for the last decade.
Yeah.
So maybe that liminal space is now shifting, and people are experiencing that, all noticing that there's a collapse happening in that shared white space. And that was synchronistic. Like, that just happened yesterday. So that was synchronistic that people are having. But it's interesting that a common dream is tripping me out. Right?
Yeah. Is there anything more Generation X than a mall? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Like, I recently went back to California. I'll make this super short. And I went to the mall that I grew up going to, and I was just like, this place is horrible. Why would anybody want to be here? But I mean, it was like the thing. It was like such an attractor of attention and money and time. And it's so weird. It's so weird. And as you're describing, I think we're kind of moving into this space where people are recognizing that these things are kind of falling into disrepair, like they're gutting these mall spaces, and they're, I mean, it really is sort of a cultural, what would you call it? Like a decay, like the decay itself, like just kind of the mall space makes some sense why we would sort of invoke that in a dream, because it is a larger metaphor. I think, again, just kind of thinking out loud here, that of looking at the world around us and recognizing the nostalgia space we came from, whatever that is and whatever that looks like, is certainly crumbling and certainly changing quickly. So I think the mall space in particular, and also, by the way, Stranger Things, don't forget they had the big battle in the mall with that anyway. Exactly. All yours. Go ahead. I'll shut up now.
No. I just want to, like, I don't want to spend the whole time talking about my own dumb dreams. I want to, like, give valuable information and stuff. But I mean, yeah, like a mall is very symbolic of, like, when you're in there, it's like a terminal. It's like the same way this liminal space could look like a plane terminal. If people, like, I've been on a plane twice in my life, so that wouldn't really apply to my dream state. But I've been in the mall a bunch of times. So maybe, like, when you're in there, there's many destinations to many different realms. Each store is a different realm. It's like, it's communal, it's shared. It's a great representation for that shared space. Maybe in the 1800s there was like a saloon or something like that, or like a marketplace or whatever. And I joked like that maybe it's moving, like the one we're gonna have in the future, maybe like a Fortnite lobby or some kind of, I don't know, like a Discord chat or something weird like that. Some kind of different new, like, digital liminal space and stuff. But just to be more concise here, and to save me some time, I asked the AI if the article that they're referencing for the show, the seed idea, was about the hypnagogic state directly. And it said pretty much, I'm paraphrasing, it said pretty much, but it's more about the wandering spontaneous flow, or it's about, mind wandering, the spontaneous, which induces the spontaneous flow of images. And then it applies to this, yada, yada. It said both states are gateway altered states where the inner critic quiets the brain and makes loose connections. The hypnagogic is the gateway during sleep transition. The brain shifts the data, logic shuts down, weird imagery floods in. The mind wandering state, which is what the article is about, it's a gateway during waking. Attention suspends, unconscious material surfaces, yielding creativity. It's basically the same. It's like induced hypnagogia as you're just wandering off. It's an induced trance state rather than like the natural trance state that happens as you're drifting off into sleep. But it's the same mechanism. And then it says the same principle, loosen cognition to new connections to info from, quote, elsewhere in your mind. Hypnagogia is just a sleep entry version. Mind wandering is the awake version. It's the same thing. And then I asked it to give me different examples of people using the hypnagogic state who as like a portal, essentially, as like a gateway to information and ideas and stuff. And I just think it's a cool list. So I'm going to waste the rest of my time with that. Thomas Edison and Salvador Dali used micro sleeps to spark creativity, which is basically the thing I talked about with the balls before. August Kekuli called it a problem-solving portal, and he referred to it as like the snake eating its tail, where you're like getting answers from yourself deep down. It's very Dune. The hypnagogia N1 breakthrough state. MIT studies show that it helps people solve math problems 3 times better if you're woken from N1 versus a regular state. The gateway to lucid dreaming, OBEs, it's a launch point for entering lucid dreams or out-of-body states, according to Stephen LaBerge, who's like a consciousness traveler and stuff. It's called, from Carl Jung calls it borderland consciousness. Stanley Kipner called it a REM intrusion. He called it a psi window, which gives you spontaneous EMT and precognitive flashes. Access to other realms. Basically, all these people, there's like 15 of these. Basically saying this is how you access the mob zone. This is how you access the terminal to everything where you want to go. We've as a culture, we haven't mastered it, so we're wandering in there blind, and we're just like babies trying to walk, essentially. But maybe as a culture, if we master it, we can. This is the terminal. This is how you roll the dial to wherever you want to go, and as far as your mind can take you. I found that interesting. And then to the ESP and telepathy thing, or to the information slipping in. I had a weird experience the other day where on my night off, I was trying to fall asleep. And if anybody doesn't know, I take care of my mother who's in a wheelchair. And I was really getting tired. I was gonna have to fall asleep, and then I could hear her doing like the early signs of she was gonna get ready to go, but like to sleep, probably not for another hour. And I have to help her get into bed. And then so I'm like drifting off, and I'm thinking like she's going to need me. This is going to time out poorly. And if she wakes me up, it's going to be a bummer. I'm not going to be able to fall back to sleep. But so then all of a sudden I hear Derek, in the same voice she always calls me, Derek. And I wake up. Here we go. Like she yelled it. It was as clear as day. Right. And I open the door. Go, you ready? And she goes, what do you mean? Are you ready to go to bed? She was like, oh, I wasn't gonna ask you, but she was like at her bed getting ready to do the transition on her own, which I know is hard for her. I know she was thinking, damn, I wish Derek was here. I could really use him. So she was thinking my name, and I heard Derek, which brought me to her, you know. And I was in that hypnagogic in between state. I hadn't fallen asleep yet, but I was fully drifting off. So I don't think I have any powers, but I think that anybody, it can happen to anybody in that state, that just different pieces of information can slip in, whether it's Cthulhu or the Muses or just this accidental ESP that came up in that list, that like people's thoughts can slip in, or like remote viewing can happen, or like, you know what I mean? It's the borderlands. It makes sense. I'm rambling.
No, that makes perfect sense. And that's a fantastic story. Like, it happened the other night with Penny Bunny. Like, I haven't heard from her in forever. And I was like,
exactly.
Like I checked on her channel, and then like 2 days later, she like pops into chat. It's like weird, but also it happens a lot in that same space of you think about somebody and then they call you, right? Or you get a text from them, and you haven't had contact with them for a while. I mean, this is that weird space. I don't know.
Thoughts, so that's the thing. It was like beyond coincidence. Like I heard her, like, it'd be one thing if I like had a dream and woke up like, or like went to the bathroom and synchronistically, she's like, oh, perfect timing. But I heard her say my name, which she didn't say, but I know she was thinking my name. But she was sparing me because she was going to just, I don't know. And it slipped in because I was in that state. And I think for anybody in that state, it can slip in. And I think, I won't get into this now, but like, I think the phenomenon knows that. So it's looking for people that it can slip into, like Lovecraft. So it could be in trances, or it can be disassociation, yada, 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 like drugs, yada, yada, yada. But great show. JJ, just amazing caller. My new favorite caller. Please call back all the time. You're the Dream Stalker.
The Dream Stalker.
Great calls, everybody.
we dubbed the Dream Stalker. You're the best, brother. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
You know, we love him. Derek, the Night Stalker. Again, it is Stocker. He calls us from work, literally grinding his guts out, stalking the shelves by dark of night. And like I said, it's hard. It's hard enough to call in and just kind of talk to each other in these abstract ways we do. But then imagine doing it from work with all the chaos and all the things. If you've ever worked in a grocery store or a retail or whatever, it's hard. Appreciate that very much. Give him a follow, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down just a little bit. It's under And the Night Stalker. Follow his YouTube channel. It's completely free. Let's encourage him to make more content. More coming up. We got more from James Enoch. We got a Jay on the line and your calls as well. So we're going to go in this order. Jay was first, then we got Enoch. We got more from James and you guys as well. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Do not go anywhere. Be right back.
This is Troubled Minds. Your host, Michael Strange, the master of the mysterious, is here to guide you through the shadows of the unexplained.
Let's check the news. A team of researchers from China and Singapore has demonstrated a disturbing new cyber attack technique that could turn your smart speaker or AI assistant against you. By embedding inaudible audio signals into ordinary content like YouTube videos or podcasts, hackers can silently hijack voice AI systems to access private photos, bank accounts, and other sensitive data. The exploit, presented this week at the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers Symposium on Security and Privacy, was shown to be effective against mainstream products built on open-source models, including those from Microsoft and Mistral. Microsoft responded with a statement emphasizing developer tools and layered protections, though critics may find that cold comfort given the scope of the vulnerability. Turning to health news, a large-scale genetic study has found a meaningful link between blood type and the risk of early stroke. Researchers analyzing data from nearly 48 genetic studies found that people carrying a specific A1 blood subgroup variant face a 16% higher chance of experiencing a stroke before the age of 60. Conversely, those with the O1 gene variant showed a 12% lower risk. Scientists note the additional danger for type A individuals is modest, and they are not yet recommending heightened screening, but the findings open new questions about how blood biology shapes our neurological fate. And finally, a potential breakthrough in clean energy production out of the University of Birmingham. Researchers there have developed a new low-temperature method for producing hydrogen fuel using a specialized mineral-based catalyst, cutting the temperature requirements for heat-driven water splitting by as much as 500 degrees Celsius. The process could allow industrial waste heat from sectors like steel, cement, and glass manufacturing to power local hydrogen production, eliminating costly transportation and storage infrastructure. If the findings hold at scale, it could mark a significant step toward hydrogen that is genuinely clean, not just marketed that way. Thanks for listening to the Troubled Minds Radio Network.
Indeed. What's up, Jay Winch out there? Jay on the phone. I see you. We got Enoch coming up and more from James and your calls as well. Hope everybody's well tonight. Thanks to Derek and everybody else for the calls tonight. Matt Sal, I see you. If I missed you guys in the chat, just say hi. I'll say hi back. Like I said, I try and get everybody. JJ, I see you there in the chat as well. What's up? Yeah. Good. All the ways. Scrolling. Let's see. Who did I miss? If I missed anybody, just say hi. I'll say hi back. What's up, Puff? Hikers here. Thanks for pinning all the stuff. Gordo over there on Rumble. Thanks for the mods doing the things and all the places. Sweet shout out. All you guys are all incredible. Thanks again. What's up, Joe? JJ. We got Enoch, Eric. I see you, Lunging Mule, Daryl, Herschel, Matsal, Sylvain, Sesh. Thanks for the call. And JJ, thanks for the call. APOC. You guys are the best, as you know. Yeah. I don't know. Do you know a finer group of people than the amazing folks that we've been lucky enough to sort of accumulate as friends and collaborators and confidants. And I don't know. I think we're pretty blessed in that regard. And thanks for being part of it. Here we go. Troubled Minds coming up in just a few seconds here. And if I missed you, sorry about that. It was an oversight. It is a bug, not a feature. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening right about now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're taking your calls as we talk dreams. This, brackish space of ideas coming together, of realms coming together. We started with this article from Psychology Today talking about dreaming while we're awake, and that the line between the waking state and the sleeping state in dreams is not as, let's say, clear as it used to be. And, it opens up the door for a ton of questions. And that's what we're about. Like I said, no truth here. All the disclaimers do apply, but everybody does dream and has a take on this. And what do you know about it? Is it possible to maybe bookmark a dream and then kind of fire it up during lunchtime and continue the dream? Right? Like a lucid dream on steroids that you can kind of go back to in some manner or another. And I don't know. This is the whole point. I don't know. But isn't it liberating to not know and talk about possibilities instead? James, anything to add? And we'll go to the calls here.
Yeah, just a funny, real quick story about my grandma and her sister many, many years ago. It took place at my grandma's sister's house, which is extremely haunted. My grandma got there one day early in the morning and realized she did not have the key to the house that she thought she had. And she was so annoyed, she told me this years later, of course when I was a kid, that she was so annoyed that she called out her sister's name in her mind, just kind of shouted it. And a minute or two later, her sister came to the door and opened it and apparently said that she had heard my grandma shout her name, even though my grandma hadn't physically shouted her name, but she had in her mind, and she hadn't meant it as a message or trying to get through. She was just so annoyed that she couldn't get in like she was supposed to, that she was just venting in a way, but her sister heard it and let her in.
Wild stuff. And like I said, this happens to everybody in some capacity. And look, the materialist will be like, it's a hell of a coincidence. And I'm like, start, chewing my cud. I'm not even a cow. I'm just like, I'm not so sure that's a coincidence. You fire stuff. I appreciate the tale there and the experience. And this is, like I said, this has happened to everybody in some capacity. Like I said, pay attention to the world around you because these synchronicities are swirling all the time. Love to hear your thoughts on this. We're talking dreams from the dusk. I'm calling this when the border begins to answer. And is it possible to bookmark a dream and then draw it out in a waking state and just continue as if you never woke up? 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. Thanks for being patient. Jay in Arizona, you're on Troubled Minds. What's up, brother? How are you tonight? And go right ahead. Test 1 2. Jay in Arizona. Okay, let me double check this. Make sure everything looks fine. Everything looks fine. I shouldn't have any issues. Okay, he hung up. Let's go back to him, calling back. Okay, let's do that. All right, Jay in Arizona, you're on Troubled Minds. Give it a second here because it talks through the thing and says, the robot goes, if you guys have called the phone line, the robot goes, you're now on Troubled Minds. Jay, what's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. How are you? Go ahead.
I'm good. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Coming through great. Welcome to the thing. What's on your mind tonight?
The topics, I guess, is it dreaming, daydreaming, night dreaming, correct?
Yeah, and how they mix. Is it possible to fire up a daydream from your night dream and just continue it in eternity, I guess?
I'll touch on that, but I was calling too because, again, I guess this is kind of weird how it's, whether synchronicity is part of dreaming. I mean, that's your perception, but last night, I I got up around like I think it was like 2:45 in the morning, and it was just weird. Like I got up, I started making something to eat, and then I went outside, and again I saw a path of lights in the sky. It wasn't like a ship or anything like that, but you know, I was Googling like meteor showers and stuff like that for yesterday's date and this morning, but nothing came up. So I don't know what it was. I mean, it could have been a meteor shower, but it just looked like similar to what I saw a few months ago near the Air Force Base. And it was kind of weird, the time frame. It was like around, I would say like 3:30 is when I went outside in the morning just to kind of look up at the sky. And I'm in the city, so it is hard to see things visibly, but I guess at that time of morning, it was, I don't know, I guess maybe ambient light per se compared to what it usually looks like. But it's weird though, again, like I called up on the show and I didn't expect to talk about this, and kind of waking up at that time. I'm not trying to get like specifics or anything, but you know, other people have different perceptions of like, you know, like here in America, they call it like the witching hour. And then in spiritual aspects, they say like that's some type of spiritual time, which, you know, you guys can go into that on your own, but it was weird, kind of the synchronicity of the time. Like around 3 a.m. I woke up and then I saw, I mean, again, I recorded what I could, but again, it's a cell phone. It's not nothing. You just see like a series of lights. And like I said before, they were within a certain amount of width, but it wasn't like random meteor shower. It looked like a series flying in a sequential path, if that makes sense. I don't know what it was. Hopefully somebody can find something on the internet. I guess regarding astronomy or anything, I don't know if they had any phenomena in the sky, but it went on for about, I would say about like 20 minutes. And then I just went back inside, and around that time, the sun started coming up. But yeah, like I said before, just weird, I guess, dreams, etc. And then another thing I was going to add on regarding, I guess that movie, I forgot his name. I think it's Night Stalker. He talked about, I think it's Arrival, and how languages shape perception. And it also goes into dreams, because you dream in different languages. If you kind of ever, I don't know if you ever experiment on that per se, like watching a movie or a show in a different language and then taking a nap. It's weird, but I'm reading some psychology books right now, and there's this doctor back in the day. He was a linguistic psychologist. His name was Benjamin Worf, and he just talked about how languages, it's interesting, kind of like that movie that you know, people talk about, Arrival, and he just says how English, it's weird how I know these things, like sometimes like I'm on the right path, but it says English speakers conceptually map time linearly, I can't say it right now, I don't know why, but where speakers of other languages might map time differently based on their verb structures. And then he goes into different perceptions of time per se, regarding languages. It's interesting, his studies on linguistics and how just things in general, like time mapping and directions and the verbs, and how, I guess, in a weird way, it affects the mind's perception. It gets deep into it. It's kind of like regarding that movie. I don't know if this is where they got the idea from it, but it gets interesting. You can Google it, and he just talks about his studies in other cultures when he was alive, and some interesting studies, you know, like they found that were really, I guess, tested, I guess not really per se advertised as much, you know, like what you see now and today in, I guess, science and medicine. But yeah, I guess also too, regarding that, just regarding dreams, I don't know if you guys ever had a dream in a different language. It's kind of weird. When I first started learning another language back in the day, just for fun, it was weird how random times my dreams would be perceived talking to somebody in a different language. And I didn't really know it per se in reality, but in the dream, somehow I had to understand the context of whatever, the linguistics of whatever they were saying. It was weird. I don't know. But anyways, I'll shut up and, you know, I'll let the next person get on, and appreciate everything, man.
You were the best. I appreciate the call. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thanks for calling. Thanks for the great ideas. Thanks for sharing experiences, and just thanks for being part of this. Be safe out there. Okay. Always a pleasure. You take care. Jay in Arizona. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night. Easy as that. You know him, you love him. Jay in Arizona, the official skydiver of Troubled Minds. Yeah. You know how you become an official something. You just call and you do something. You tell us who you are, and that's that. James, anything to add to that? We got lots of calls here. We will go a little long to get all the calls in, and it is a holiday weekend. So happy Memorial Day to those out there that, of course, have passed and stood strong against tyranny in all the places of the world. And we can't thank you enough, at least from my perspective. And I think there's. Like I said, when you get into that type of stuff and it becomes political, it seems stupid to me. It's very obvious that there's a line of evil in the world that needs to be defended against, and there are people that some gave all, as they say. Anything to add, James? And we'll go to these calls.
No, just agreed, and looking forward to the rest of the calls. And like I said, if when you all want to, I can share that abduction story, but I have shared it before, so it's all to you guys as well.
You are the best. 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Enoch was first. Let's go to Enoch in Michigan. What's up, Austin? How you doing, brother? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and James. How are you? Go right ahead. What do you know about dreams and this sort of dreams from the dusk, as I'm calling it?
I wanted to say, I was thinking about something you asked earlier. You're like, yes or no? And I was like, yes. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, speak up a little bit, please. I got you pumped to 200%. You're still kind of quiet.
All right. How's it working now?
Way better. Go ahead, sir.
There's a question that you asked earlier, and I don't even remember what it was, but I know my answer was yes. And then the question you just asked was, I forgot because I'm trying to think about the question you asked way earlier that I said yes to, because I was going to base most of what I had to say on that. But letting go, because it'll come back to me when I let it go, is the dreams, how they're connected. I've been practicing journaling every day, and every life and every dream life of every day persistently for a good year. And I've put myself in antilogical shock many times. Just realizing, for me specifically, I've been practicing certain specific disciplines, some of which would be Qigong, Tai Chi, bioting balls, which are kind of like what Derek was talking about, the balls. So I might say something about that because I have been using them, and they do help me speak and communicate even, and meditate, focus, etc. Floating orbs, they also call it. It is a form of martial arts. You're doing a mind-body synchronization act in the act of it. The CIA recognizes it as a medieval mind hack. So it is definitely one way to watch yourself. And I think in these modern times we're living in, there is a lot of energy invested in keeping our minds outside of ourselves. The last job I had was a smart owner. I almost knocked over a stack of pallets. Almost. Very little, you know? And he said, watch yourself. And I took that to heart, and I've never forget it, and I'm going to carry it to my grave.
I will reiterate, sir. Watch yourself. It's good advice. It's absolutely good advice. Hey, and you know what? There are things out there in the world that will stub your toe and kill you, right? I mean, hey, just be present and be aware, because watch yourself is a fantastic, super short advice we all need to hear, because a little bit of carelessness goes a long way in bad ways. You're the best, brother. We got tons of calls to get to, so if you can keep it shorter than usual, I appreciate it. What else you got?
I found multiple stoic quotes to reinforce that short quote. But I'm just going to say they're stoic quotes. Whoever's interested can look into that. You're into that, you know what I'm talking about.
Amen.
Keep it shorter. But the dreams thing, I wanted to say because someone was talking about, do you have like maybe, I think someone was asking if you have like control over them. for me, when I think it's core beliefs is definitely going to play huge into how your being is going to be carried into the dream world. I do think the dream and the life world are heavily interconnected, because I was able to have dreams about jobs that I was going to do. Weeks went by, and the same things happened in my dream that happened in real life, and I seen some things that were unbelievable, like a person that wasn't there, and it was in the dream weeks ago, and the same thing happened. I seen a person that wasn't there for a second in the same place as the dream, and I could literally reference it, turn the pages back to my journal and read that stuff, take my mind back in time to that event of my dream, because I wrote down my dreams and what I did that day. I found that whatever I'm thinking about within the last 3 days, my mind will run simulations on what that is and try to like solve what I'm wanting to learn. And that's also something I've realized. And the last nightmare I had was me seeing what happens when I let go of my discipline. I was like moving objects with my mind, and I was like, oh crap. I was like, I'm doing it again. I'm not practicing as much as I should. And I basically awakened this level of awareness, but now I have this responsibility over controlling my environment, controlling myself. I realize that in controlling myself, I control my environment. And when I stop doing that, I start to lose control of my environment. And that's what was kind of happening. And the nightmare was just telling me basically what I already knew. It was just reminding me that I'm doing a disservice to everyone around me when I lack in my discipline.
Amen. The subconscious has a way of scolding us in ways that that become prevalent, especially in the dream
personal
space. Yeah, absolutely.
Dreams are very personal. It's like whatever you want to use them for, they'll work with you. If you don't believe they will, if you believe they work against you, they'll do that. They'll do that. They'll do whatever you program them to do. If you do or don't believe, it'll work with you. It'll do that.
Amen. Amen. Calls to get to you, brother. Appreciate you very much. Happy Veterans Day, Memorial Day to you. If you have tomorrow off, enjoy it. Thanks for being part of this. Thanks for sharing the ideas, and always a pleasure. The Stoic Mindset plays. It always plays. Take care, my man.
Yes. God be with you.
You are the best. That's Austin in Michigan at the Enoch on Discord. Come meet these amazing people. 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Go to the phone line. I see you guys on Discord. We'll get to everybody tonight. We'll go a little bit late. Mystery caller on line 1. You're on Troubled Minds. What's your first name? Where are you calling from? Go right ahead. Test 1 2. Are you there? Mystery caller on line 1. It's so exciting when you don't know who's calling. Mystery caller. You're on Troubled Minds. Are you there? Nothing. The phone line did work because Jay in Arizona called. Test. You're on Troubled Minds. Give you just another second here. If not, we'll move on. Got tons of calls to get to. Thanks for being patient. I hate that it doesn't work, but it did work. So it was working. It is working. I'm not sure what's happening. You got a bad connection. Call back, okay? I'll make a note. I'll put bad connection in your caller name, and then we'll get back to you if you call back. Okay, there it is. Sorry about that. That sucks. I hate that people wait and then can't get on here. 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Thanks for being patient, friends. Let's go to Jen in Missouri, the Arcane Observer. What is going on? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and James. How you doing tonight? We're talking dreams. We're talking all manner of wild things. Hope you're well tonight. Happy Memorial Day to you, and hopefully you're off tomorrow. And welcome. What's on your mind?
I am off tomorrow, and yeah, happy Memorial Day to you too, and James and everyone else. So I just was thinking that, just one quick point is that, you can control the dream state. There are so many different disciplines to that, and a lot of instruction available out there that will help you to actually control your dreams to some extent, at least to a quite an extent. In fact, even to the point of imagining and seeing what you would like to see in your waking life. And there are a lot of books on it, and it's a whole subject to itself. But yeah, you can control the dream state through many different disciplines of just a lot of it just journaling your dreams and focusing on them more than you usually would, which actually takes a lot of focus. And so it's sort of a hobby a person might take up. But then it makes you kind of wonder, could you then, by focusing on your waking life, have the same effect? So that, I think the way that it could tie in, could you influence the waking life or see certain cues you might leave for yourself as a sort of subconscious flag that you're aware that, kind of like in the dream state, you become aware that you're dreaming. And it's a lucid dreaming effect where there's something that kind of you suddenly realize that you're aware that you're in a dream. And the same sort of thing would apply to being in the waking life, giving yourself some sort of signal that you're aware that you have some kind of connection with the waking world, that there's some sort of influence you could have. Now I've never had any effect with that, like where you can affect the waking world or anything like that. But that's the whole idea of what magic is about and of the occult. It's about doing that, crossing that line. And it can be done through active imagination, basically just having a very strong visual, like power over your imagination, being able to control what the mind thinks and sees, and being able to visualize it in your mind's eye is where a lot of people talk about where they start with it. But I wonder if there's some kind of connection there when talking about it, because hypnosis imitates that. I think it was Night Stalker mentioned, the hypnotic state, and there's some kind of connection there. And I think that is significant. It's very similar, and is this some type of, it's not an imaginary place that you're going into in your mind when you're thinking that way. It's a realm. I think that it is. And it's because it's a realm that influences how you respond to your environment. And then in addition to that is that there's a placebo effect, essentially, where the mind, and many of the shamanistic practices use that, and many other different disciplines use the power of the mind. And anyone can see that in effect. When you begin to focus on something and you draw your attention to it, it changes in your real world. For example, just anytime you pay attention to anything, it improves or it doesn't, depending on your mindset about it. But I think that there's some kind of connection there between trying to affect the world the same way that you can have power over the dream state and can revisit or be aware that you're dreaming. You can be aware that you're not dreaming in the waking state, but that there's some kind of connection between your psychological experience of it and your mental imagination state and this realm. And then I think too, I liked what James said earlier too about the dream state being a portal, or the sleep state or hypnotic state being a portal for other intelligences to traverse. He kind of brushed against that, like right up in the very beginning of the conversation. And I think that is accurate. That I also think that is plausible to some degree.
I dig it. Fire stuff. Appreciate it very much. Enjoy your day off tomorrow. Thank you for the call. Anything for Jen?
You too.
James?
Are you off tomorrow?
I am off tomorrow. Thank the heavens. I have the day off
Have
tomorrow. You too. Anything for Jen there, James? And then we'll go to the next call.
Great to hear from you as always, Jen. Looking forward to doing that special show with you tomorrow night over my server.
Looking forward to it. I'll see you then. Have a good night.
Yep.
Take care. Appreciate the call. The Arcane Observer, Jen, again, Sweets has already done all the work, posted her links in all the places, so please go give her a follow. TroubledMinds.org/friends. Scroll down. It says follow Jen. Simple as that. And please do that. Like I said, this is about people talking to each other from all over the world. Like we're not just sort of the North American space, Canada and the United States. We get people calling from Central America, South America, all over the damn world, which is incredible. 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. So if you're on the phone line, stay there. We're going to get to you. We're going to go to Jay Winch here. And he was actually the guy on the phone line that bricked for some reason. Jay Winch, what's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and James. How are you? We're talking dreams tonight. Give us your best.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. You sound fantastic, man.
Awesome.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Finally.
Finally. Not finally that, but I mean, finally you're on the show.
Yeah.
You did do a lot of waiting on there.
Trying.
I appreciate it. What you got? Go ahead.
It is what it is. So, dream state. So, dream state is, it depends what your dream state is. As a veteran, I can say post-traumatic stress disorder is a thing. But that's as a veteran. But my wife has the same thing. She was young. She just got her driver's license. She was driving. The light was green. She was driving through it, and she got hit by a drunk driver and almost killed her. She has post-traumatic stress disorder from that also. But that also affects your dreams. And when it comes to a dream state, like some people can kind of see what's coming. What do they call that? I forget that effect. There was a movie with Denzel Washington where like he kind of would dream and see what was coming. Somebody in chat will know it. Premonition. There we go. So like you dream, you get premonitions. You dream. Most people don't remember what they're dreaming on, but others do. And then some people choose to forget their dreams because they have violent remembrances of what they've seen, what they've done, or the possibility of what's going on in the world. And I mean, that's what it is. The dream state is your conscience, but on a different level versus the 3D, what we see when we're awake. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And especially, so I'm glad you brought that up. Like I said, thank you to our veterans out there. Thank you to Jay Winch. Anybody who out there who has served, like I said, you have my heart because like I said, there are many of us that did not, that have benefited from that. Look, go ahead and politicize it all you want, but there are people out there. Look, Jay Winch, a good friend for a long time, that have experienced this. I have family members that have served and are literally like stuck in this PTSD space. It's horrific. It is absolutely horrific. And so, yeah, I think 100% what you're describing is a very real thing. I haven't dug into the science of this specifically, but it's undoubtedly a real thing that your trauma manifests in the dreams and you relive spaces you don't want to because you can't shake it. And like I said, my heart goes out to that sentiment and the fact that you did it. And it's rough, man. It's rough. And so I do appreciate it very much. And thank you for sharing that. It's a thing. And not only, like you said, you don't have to necessarily be a veteran to experience it. It could be any kind of traumatic experience that resurfaces. It's, I don't know, other than what I said, I could just gush on forever about it, but it's horrific. And so thank you for bearing through that. Thank you for sharing that experience. And thanks for being here tonight. What else you got, my man?
So I will say, I know you got a bunch of people in chat, this, that, and the other coming up, but to the people all over the world, like you said, you may not have served, but somebody you know has. We didn't choose how we served. And you know as well, it goes down, support our troops, to hell with the politicians. I hate to say it like that, but it is what it is.
It's true, though. Like, I agree with you emphatically, 100%. Our politicians have no idea what the ground level person goes through. 100%. Support our troops, F the politicians, 100%.
Agreed. And that's worldwide. And like, even if you don't think you know somebody that served once upon a time, somewhere down your bloodline, like as long as our history is, somebody you know, somebody that's related to you has went and fought for a cause. Whether it been wrong or right, they went and fought for a cause. In their mind at that time, they might not have known the cause, but they did. And I think that's where the dream state comes in also. It's like, as we dream, we get the conscience from even family members from generations ago, from time to time. Like, they kind of give us a warning, like, hey, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, or hey, go have fun. But I know you got a lot of people coming in. at the end of the night, I'd love to come back in for a little bit longer if you had the ability. If not, I mean, enjoy tomorrow. Cook something good, something you like, and just sit back and have, if you can, a 10-second moment of silence for those that serve.
Amen. Amen, brother. For those who gave all, some gave all. Yeah, stay right there. Stay muted. We'll get back to you. Okay, we'll finish it up with you if you want to stay up late, because we're going to go another probably 15, 20, 30
Yeah,
minutes.
I'll just mute myself. You pull me back up, brother.
You got it. Stay right there. Jay Winch. Look, this stuff is important, right? Like, and it seems frivolous to say, go cook something good, go have a nice time or whatever, right? It's not. There are places in the world where you can't do that. Okay, just a reminder of that space, and it's not lost on me. And I'm not getting political. I am getting choked up. I literally have family members that are broken. I say this a lot, not a lot. I don't say it as often as I should, actually. That are, you go serve and you break your mind, you break your heart, your body, your soul, and then you come back and they're like, go get a job, bro. It's like, hey, and then you go to the VA. Oh, you're hurting, you're broken. Go to the VA. Wait in line for days at a time. Ugh. It pisses me off so much. Stay there. We'll finish up with Jay Winch. 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. Hang tight, Eric. We had a caller before you. We're going to go to that. Then we'll go to Eric. We'll go back to James and Jay Winch, and we'll wrap this up. Whoever is the mystery caller on line 1, you're on Troubled Minds. What's your first name? Where are you calling from? And go right ahead. Testy test. 1, 2. You're on Troubled Minds. Are you there? Testes. What happened? The phone line was fine, and now it's not fine. Actually, what happened, James?
Yeah, I think I broke the phone line.
Did you? What happened actually? So you were on there, you could hear, you were listening, but it just didn't work.
Yeah, so I was sitting there listening, and I knew it was me because I've called in on the phone line. I don't know, back pre cough of the 2020, and I know what it sounds like. And for some reason, when I had the ability to go ahead and talk, it was like, you're live, and I took it off speaker and I could listen to you, and I'm saying hi, and it just didn't work. So, the Internet of Things, it is what it is.
It is what it is. You're on Troubled Minds, whoever's there. I got the area code. I know where that's coming from, but I don't know who you are. Can you hear us? We're trying to hear you. Everything was working previously. Jay in Arizona worked. Are you there? The phone line, you're on Troubled Minds. Test 1, 2. Yeah, I don't know. It says you're on air, so my apologies on that. If it worked and now it doesn't work, I don't know what that means. Sorry about that. I'm going to leave you on there. So if you can fix whatever is happening, just unmute it or whatever and pop on in here. Come say hi. You're on Troubled Minds. Instead, you're still on, so hop in whenever you can if you can. Let's go to Eric in Ohio. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. How you doing tonight?
Hey, good. I'm doing well. How are you guys?
No complaints out of me. Just living the dream, talking to amazing people by dark of night. Thanks for being part of this. What you got for us tonight?
I'm not organized, but I think I can be succinct. When I was like 8 or 9, I had 2 reoccurring dreams and never had any sense, but they were absolutely terrifying because every night when I would get ready to lay down and go to sleep, I would just be terrified because I knew I was going to have this dream. And it didn't even matter really what the dream was, intense or not or whatever. Just the fact that I knew I was going to have the exact same dream with the exact same sensory input every time was just freaking me out. And it finally, to end the sequence, I was able to stop it before the climax of the sequence, right before that, and then every night successively shortened that until one night I began to have that dream and the opening occurred and I was able to do something to change it and dispel it in that sense, which was my first experience with lucid dreaming. I had about 4 other dreams that were lucid dreams in my life after that, but in every instance I would get so excited I would just simply wake up. So they didn't last for very long. Once I would realize that it was a lucid dream and I was in control, I would just go crazy, and get excited. Yeah, like,
go nuts,
hey,
kid.
I need a van with a bunch of automatic weapons for these zombies. Let's go. And then I would be doing crazy stuff in my dreams, and I'd get excited and wake up. And the most intense nightmares I have had have caused somnambulistic behavior in me, where I would wake up being, having been walked into another room, having things in my hands that I don't know how I got, doing actions like fighting, and there's nothing there, just like waking up, standing up, almost not like waking up in a sense, because my heart was pounding and I was sweating, and it didn't really feel like I was waking up from a sleep in any sense like that. So I've never had a precognitive dream or a regressive dream or nothing like that, but definitely a lot of bleed over into a more awaking state. And as far as languages, when I was studying American Sign Language, when I really knew that I had that down, I started signing in my dreams. I was signing, and it was a very strange thing to do in a dream, I thought, because I'd never done it. But it was supernatural in the dream, just like it was becoming integrated into my ability to do it. So that was interesting. And then there's also this discussion about there being a central place that you can potentially go to, and a lot of people have described it as a mall. But for me, I had a different filter. But I think that it was the same place. I mean, for me, it was a structure I used to live in when I was a small child, and interspersed in the walls were all these crawl spaces that were comprised of very old wood that had been nailed haphazardly together to make ladders and causeways and things like this. And this was in a house that was just set in a dusty parking lot that would have a lot of cars in it. And I would try to bring myself to that place because there was always this feeling of heareth there, which is like that Welsh nostalgia feeling, like of a place that you've never actually been to, but that you long to keep returning to. And so there would be many nights that I would go to sleep thinking about everything I could remember about the inside of my old house, the crawl spaces that I seen and could access in certain rooms in that house via my dreams, and the parking lot and the cars that were in it, and just every sensory input that I could remember. And oftentimes I would go into a dream state when I would fall asleep thinking these things, and that those thoughts would keep continuing. And I know that's kind of the opposite of what the study was talking about, which is carrying that into the waking moments, but definitely am able to consider certain aspects. And I've awakened and had a whole day collared by a dream. Like if it was a stressful nightmare or something that was sad that happened or some kind of intense emotion, I could go through my whole day and not be able to shake that feeling of feeling upset or sad about something, and even get upset about it in the day. Like, God, why am I feeling like this? Just because of that dream. I mean, this isn't even happening in my life. But I'm carrying this feeling and this emotion with me based on the dream I had when I woke up. So yeah, I definitely have had a lot of blending in those realms and stuff. And also, we talked on the show about all mammals communicating at a certain frequency, which was 7.83 hertz, generated by the planet's lightning activity between the surface and the ionosphere. I think you did a show about this, and that 7.83 hertz lies right at the theta wave state, which is between 4 hertz and 8 hertz, which is deep meditation, intuition and dreams, and subconscious access. So typically REM sleep dreams will take place in that 4 to 8 hertz area, and that's the same frequency as the earth vibrates at, and that mammals communicate at. So it's possible that sometimes when you're dreaming and you're going to this collective place, it might look different for people depending on how they interpret it, but I think that feeling is the same, and that place is the same, and that frequency is the same. You know, when you consider that the brain basically with gamma waves being at the top end at 100 hertz, going through to beta, to alpha, to theta, to delta, and then, lambda waves, which is back up at 100 hertz, that's like a whole frequency span. So the brain has got this ability to tune into different stations and stuff. And I think that that's a part of it. And we talked about the hypnagogic state that Newton had been in when he was thinking about gravity. This is the same state that Plato would go into and that Socrates would go into. And Plato famously wrote about this in his book, The Republic. And he referred to this as a mind model more than a hypnagogic state. But Einstein did the same thing when he was on a walk, just chilling, taking a walk and like zoning out. He had the idea of a guy falling in an elevator and being temporarily weightless as he was falling. And that's the thing that got him thinking about relativity being a curvature in space as opposed to a force. So there have been a whole lot of insights that's come into people's thoughts through this particular frequency of between 4 and 8 hertz. And so I think this is something, because it's a human condition, as you pointed out on this episode, that everybody is equal in this thing that we do and how we perceive it and how we relate to it in our real waking life. So I think there's definitely something there that's worth note.
Yeah, and continuing to consider here. So all those frequencies, like there's also going to be like sort of that quantum stuff that, we've talked about OR, you brought it up several times, quantum consciousness, I call it. I mean, imagine that and what frequency something like the Adjustment Bureau lives in, right? The dream feds, shout out the Rumble chat. I mean, like if there's something like this where you can ratchet this up and we can access these things and measure these things, there are also going to be immeasurable things that we cannot. So I do wonder what the hell this looks like. And yeah, I don't know, man. Are you off tomorrow? Are you lucky enough to get tomorrow off?
No, actually, I got to work. It's like a weird schedule where you work 8 days, you're off, or you work 7 days, off 2, work 8 days, off 4. So I got to work tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, definitely we should do a show about that at some point because there's a whole lot of things to talk about. Like we touched upon quantum entanglement today, and that arrives on 2 different forms, right? Like for OR, you're talking about London forces and microtubulars that push the electrons of atoms together, which causes them to be entangled. And then the idea of entanglement lies outside of linear time, meaning that, and then, obviously there are things that do, like the event horizon of a black hole, any kind of a vector particle like a photon, all of these things, because of time dilation, work in the world without being affected by time. They're timeless. And the same quality that has the spooky action as a distance, as Einstein liked to say about quantum entanglement, it's still in that nonlinear time platform. And he gives a lot of credence to the idea that the block universe theory is a real thing, where time is just another dimension that's an emergent property of what an underlying substrate is, because, which goes into your hologram universe and simulation kind of theories, where the idea is that things are computated for the observer, and beyond that they're not, and that the actual substrate is something that doesn't include distance. So like the 4 dimensions are the emergent property of the projection of information, and meaning that distance is irrelevant. Like there really isn't no distance between you and the Andromeda galaxy. That's just how we perceive it. But the actual constitute structure of the universe doesn't work in terms of distance, which is also a good reason of why light always travels at the same speed, because it's an exchange rate more than it's actually a speed limit, because the exchange rate is based on the substrate of the universe, which isn't one of the fundamental properties of that is not distance and is not time. And I think I've said on the show before, there is no here and now, and there is no any of these two things, right? Like everything's constantly in flux. The Earth turns, it orbits, the sun goes around the galaxy goes through space, and so on and so on. So there's no actually one time that you're in any one spot, and there's no here and now because it's relativistic. What time it is for you depends on how fast you're moving and how close you are to a gravitational object, and so it's personal to you. So you're embedded in a very personal idea of what space and time really is, which is a construct based on the substrate.
Well said. The fire. Thanks for working out there for us when many of us have the day off. Go get it. I will read in honor of you, I'll read the classic Twilight Zone opening as we finish, because I think there's a fifth dimension beyond which is known to man. You're the best. You're the best. Appreciate you very much. Thanks to Sweets for linking all the Eric stuff. Follow Eric, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down, click the friends link. Just follow Eric. Very simple. Click that right there. You can't miss it. It's alphabetical. Please go follow the man in all the places and the projects he's working on. Thanks to Sweets for posting and pinning in all the places and all the other mods. You're the best, brother. Appreciate the call. God bless. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.
Thanks, sir.
You are the best. You know me, love him. Eric in Ohio. James, anything to add? And then we'll go to Jay Winch to wrap this up. And I'm going to reiterate, heads up. Thank you to all our veterans out there. There are many in the chat, many that have seen some things that people don't want to see. And happy Memorial Day to those who gave all. What you got, James?
Yes, agreed with all that. Great calls from everyone. Just in my mind right now, the thing that is sticking is the idea of lightning and how weird, anomalous things seem to happen around lightning and thunderstorms and all that. And the way that if you look at, scans of the brain and all that, how sometimes the way energy moves through the brain or the signals move through the brain, it almost looks like lightning. So I find that really fascinating because I've done shows before on just lightning and weird. It seems like more paranormal activity can happen around that. And just dreams as well. Again, what kind of lightning is going on within our own minds on that smaller scale, I wonder. And so thank you for having me on as always.
No, thanks for being here. Johnny on the spot, the glue of the show. You know him, you love him. James Salcido, SalcidoParanormal.com, SALSIDO Paranormal.com. Go buy his books. Again, they're on Amazon. You can buy them tonight, get them tomorrow. Please support our friends. That's what this is all about. Go follow his podcast in all the places. Go do all the things. Appreciate you very much. Jay Winch, welcome back, brother. You're on Troubled Minds. Thanks for being cool and chilling and waiting. And what do you got for us? Let's wrap this up. The dream space, the veterans, Memorial Day. Hey, some gave all, and let's wrap it up. You're the best.
Do I got like 30 seconds or I got like 3 minutes?
Give it 3 minutes, man. In honor of you, right. Let's give it some space to breathe. I'm not going to cut you off. Go ahead.
Okay, so 3 minutes. I'll do my best to be like Night Stalker, but yeah, that's a hard thing to follow. So when it comes to dreams, to me, dreams are a warning / premonition / unfinished business. All three are kind of the same. You may have a sign in your dream of violence, this, that, and the other, and it might save your life. Eric even talked about it, the previous caller, where he woke up and it was a very, very violent dream and he's having issues. Personally, myself, I had a premonition. I damn near broke my foot fighting a concrete wall. And I seen that in war and it actually saved my life. So dream state to me is your subconscious, where all of us, if we can learn how to hone it, can be there. But also, I had to say, be cautious. And this is one of those jokes and puns that I forget her name, but it comes with the drums.
Daryl.
Don't let yourself fall off a building during your dream. Because when you hit the floor in your dream, you might not wake up.
Got you. Yeah, exactly. Shout out Daryl. The jokes, the cosmic comic of Troubled Minds. Yeah. Hey, God bless you and you and the fam, man. Thanks again for your service and thanks for just spending your time and energy with us. We appreciate you very much.
But yes, my last 30 seconds I got from my 3 minutes.
Go for it.
If you truly, truly want to support a veteran, not because of political stuff, go find your local VFW hall and show up and find those veterans and be like, hey, you need a hand cutting your grass? Driving somewhere? Or just shake their hand and tell them thank you. Because that goes a long, long way.
Amen. Amen. You are absolutely the best. Appreciate you very much. Thank you for your service. Again, thanks to all the service of the veterans out there. Like I said, look, this is not political. Like I continue to say, and I continue to believe that there are places in this world that are terrifying, that are a political dissident doesn't just get roasted on social media and ridiculed or whatever. They get dragged out of their home and murdered. Okay? Like there are still places in this world that are like this. Don't forget it. And my brother is a Marine Corps veteran. Hoorah. Shout out Fred out there and all the rest of our Marine Corps veterans. And he was talking to a friend of his, and I'll give you the quick anecdote. We'll read the Twilight Zone and get out of here. But the quick anecdote was very simply, he was talking to a friend of his that had spent a ton of combat time. My brother was lucky enough not to have. But he was talking to a fellow Marine that had spent a ton of combat time and clearly bore the scars, the psychological scars that went along with it. And he said to my brother, he said, hey, look, when it comes to this and the regular people that want to like help us and recognize us and not forget the sacrifices we made, he's like, I don't want any of those people, the regular people out there, to go to some cemetery. I don't want them to go hang out and, at Arlington Cemetery or something. He's like, I want them to take that day and go do something they love to do. If it's barbecuing, God bless them. If they want to go hiking on a mountain, God bless them. Because it's not about remembering us in that space. It's about remembering the things we can do and the privileges we have. Yeah. And it struck true. It's I get choked up when I think about these things. There are, like I said, I have family members that are broken. Just don't forget, it's a wide world out there. It's a scary place. And as Jay Winch said, hey, there are a lot of people that do need help. Go down to the VFW. Go hang out. Go say hi. Go introduce yourself. Yeah. That's that. Anything to add, James? I'll read the Twilight Zone and we'll get out here.
Just thank you for having me on. And I did mention earlier, so I'll say it again just in case anyone is interested. I will be doing a show with Jen, the Arcane Observer, over on my server tomorrow night. I usually do a show Mondays anyway, and it's going to work out that she can join me. So, I'll be talking about my experiences as well. So, but everyone take care. And I agree with everything that you said, Mike, and as well as Jay Winch, what he talked about. And great topic and great calls and show as always.
You were the best. Appreciate you very much. Please follow James, SouthCitoParanormal.com. Thanks to Sweets and everybody else out there, all the mods posting and pinning and all the things and letting us know where to find these amazing people that are part of these conversations. You know what to do. TroubledMinds.org/friends. Scroll down. Shout out to Fred, and thank you for your service, my friend. And also Karen Rocks. I haven't added you. I will. I'll take the time off tomorrow to add you. Find folks to the Troubled Minds /friends list. Let's do this. Speaking of dimensions, ideas, the fractal of the mind space. Rod Serling said this: there is a fifth dimension beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is a dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone. Don't forget, the world is a crazy place. If you took the entire ephemeral experiences of all humanity forever and were able to measure it, I promise you, I'm not about facts, but in this case, I promise you, we would be shocked if that level of data were measurable. Because I do believe there's a lot of things out there yet to be discovered that will become measurable. So let's keep dreaming about it. Let's keep talking about it. Let's keep considering what is and what isn't. And don't forget, all of this is a human space. If you want to help Troubled Minds, help our friends. troubledminds.org/friends. You know what to do. Follow all these amazing people. Buy James's books, buy Robert's books, buy Matthew's books. 95+% of that's all free. Please go follow these people in all these amazing places. They're doing incredible human-inspired work. That's what this is about. If you want to help us directly, spread the word. Let people know a conversation is happening where we're not going to tell you who to vote for. Every damn conversation doesn't devolve into some political nonsense. Instead, we talk about what it means to be human in the human space in 2026. That's that. As we finish, this one goes out to each and every veteran out there that's ever served. Some gave all, some did not. Service is service. And there are scary places in the world where we draw the line and brave men and women stand up and say, not here. This one goes out to all of you. Thank you for your service. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.